What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Q&A special here on the JUICEREACTS channel. It's just a little thank you to you guys and gals for supporting this channel. So I had people send me questions on Instagram, on the YouTube stories over on my main channel, and on freaking the comment whatever video I put, like, hey, ask questions here, that video. So we're gonna go ahead and go through some of these questions, and yeah, this is a Q&A just to say kind of thank you for, you know, supporting this channel. First up is, hey, Juicebox, how's your mood? Pretty good. You know, I think things have been going up a lot lately. You know, although yesterday there was a little bit of drama in my fantasy football league. Our commissioner is a dick, and I got kicked out. So he's kind of a bitch. But other than that, freaking everything else is pretty good. Life is solid. You know, I'm having fun streaming again. I'm having fun, you know, making videos. You know, like I said, the React channel just crossed 1,000. And yeah, things are just starting to look up, and I think 2020 is going to be a really exciting year. I'm getting ready to launch a new podcast, so my mood is pretty good. Next up we got, what is your cringiest video you've ever made? And man, that's rough, because I made a lot of cringy videos. I mean, I would actually have to go through my old channel and actually see what would be the cringiest video I ever made. It's obviously one of the earlier videos, but I don't know. I've made some pretty cringy videos, and I'm just like, ugh. So one thing that I don't have on my page anymore is, I don't know, it has to be some of the earlier videos, to be honest. I think the cringiest videos are the ones where I talked very slowly, and I don't have a lot of them on my page anymore because I used to do this show. This is all on my main channel, not this channel, by the way. I used to do this show called Music Monday, where every Monday I would drop a video talking about 3 different artists that maybe you haven't heard of or whatever. You know, I just wanted people to really learn about music and do stuff like that. And I used to do these videos, and I would try to learn things about each person and play a little bit of their music and stuff like that. And every video always got copyright strike or whatever. That's when YouTube started really growing and like, oh, copyright. So I took a lot of those videos down. But that was before I really knew about getting a personality and actually kind of driving the video, having some emotion. It was just like, hey guys, so today we're gonna actually talk about this band called Band of Horses. And it was just very like, oh my god, every time I would watch it, I'm like, hurry the fuck up and talk faster. Like, that's how I would really just talk about things. So yeah, I don't know, those had to be some of my cringiest videos. Who is your favorite Star Wars character? Did you enjoy The Mandalorian Season 1? I haven't seen The Mandalorian at all, so I can't say if I've enjoyed it at all. And my favorite Star Wars character, I feel like you pick per era. You know what I mean? You had the prequels, then you had the originals, and then you have the current present films. If I had to do it that way, I mean, because I think I always liked Luke. I've always liked Yoda, too. Yoda was always dope. And they've kind of been in every era. But I think, you know, if we were going to prequels, Darth Maul, even though he was only in one film, Darth Maul, I would go with that. I don't know, Obi-Wan's pretty dope too, though. I don't know. I'll stick with Darth Maul. If I had to go with the originals, I'd go Luke. And if I had to go with the current ones, I really enjoy Rey. Had Kylo kept his helmet the whole time, it probably would have been Kylo. But I really enjoy Rey. So, yeah. What was your biggest inspiration to make your own comic book? Well, I think comic books in general, I feel like I have this like little idea of, you know, I want to make movies eventually, and nowadays, if you look at it, a lot of movies that are being made are based off comic books. So I figured, I was like, you know what, if I make a comic book, I could actually, if it's good enough, it could get sold and then be made into a movie, and then maybe like I'll be like, oh, I gotta write the movie, and then I'll have, boom, I've written a movie, and then bada bing bada boom, I've created something from scratch, and it's turned into hopefully a good, you know, comic book movie. And I think that was kind of a little idea in my mind, but I always read comic books. I read comic books every week, and I think that I'm so just, I don't know, I love the idea of, you know, having a story told through art, but also with words, because, you know, a lot of people read novels and stuff, and that's all pure imagination. But sometimes I think actually being able to see the photos and seeing the emotions and the characters is pretty cool. So I always thought, I was like, you know what, I think I could make a really cool comic book. And yeah, and the inspiration came from a bunch of things. I mean, obviously I do want to write Batman when I get, whenever I have the chance. Not when I get older. I would write Batman right now if I could, but yeah, I don't know. I think the inspiration for that is just I've always wanted to tell stories, and I've always enjoyed the idea of comic books, so why not put them together? Another comic book question: can you give us a synopsis for your comic book? I could, but I'm not going to. And the reason why, and it's not because I don't want you guys to know about it, it's because I want the comic book to be in production before I start letting a lot of information out. The reason why is because I'm currently raising funds for the comic book, and if I were like, oh yeah, this is my character's name, this is the villains, this is what it's gonna look like, this is the synopsis, somebody that actually has money and is not trying to raise money to get their comic book would be like, that's a really good idea. Let me go run and freaking steal his idea and make it my own, and then, you know, maybe they get it in the way, or they get it faster, they do it faster, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people say I shouldn't worry about that, but I do, because I really enjoy the idea of the book, and I would hate for somebody else to take it. So I'm just kind of playing it a little close to the chest, and once it's actually starting being drawn, then I'll gladly talk about it, because I know it'll be hitting production fairly quickly after that. So yeah. What DC villain would you like to get a movie? I would like to see Scarecrow get a movie. I think you could do it like a horror movie with Scarecrow, but do it really trippy. It could be a very suspense type of movie. I think Scarecrow would have a really cool movie. I feel like I got this comment multiple times. What was your favorite movie of 2019? And the only thing I can think of, to be honest, is Joker. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that I watched multiple times that I really, really enjoyed, that I left the theater just thinking about the movie, and I was like, man, that was so good. Like, what if it meant this? What if it meant that? And I think that's what, when it comes to deciding what is a favorite movie of mine, it has to be something that makes me think. It has to be something that I enjoyed, and something that I was willing to pay for again to watch multiple times, you know? So yeah, I'd have to say Joker. What is your dream collab? I don't know. I feel like collabs are like kind of a dying breed on YouTube. I guess depending on who you're watching, because a lot of people, I think once they reach a certain height, they don't really do collabs anymore unless they are like genuine friends with people. And so I don't know. I don't really know, because my style is so different. Like, how do you collab with a reaction video? You know what I mean? Is it just like we watch something together and then we discuss it? You know what I mean? If it was on, I don't feel like I have any channel that could really be collab friendly. I mean, maybe my vlog channel could be very collab-y, but I don't know. If I had to pick somebody I would want to work with, I would love to work with PewDiePie, just because I think he's just got a weird style, and he just kind of just randomly, his videos seem very chill, but to be honest, over PewDiePie, which is crazy, I would like to just be in a Mr. Beast video, like do one of those crazy challenges just to see if I could last, or just to be in one of his videos. I think it would be really fun. It seems like he has fun doing those videos. I'm pretty sure they're hectic, I'm pretty sure they're crazy, but yeah, I don't know, it just seems like Mr. Beast would be somebody fun to collab with, because it's chaotic, it's crazy sometimes, but he's also doing a lot of good, and I really enjoy that. A Star Wars question: what's better, Star Wars prequels or sequels? And I'm assuming you're meaning, so you got the prequels were with Darth Maul, then you got the OGs, and you got the other ones. It's very hard to not go with the originals, you know what I mean? The originals started everything, and then, but, you know, they are kind of dated when it comes to effects and stuff. But I think just for that time, for what it was, I think the originals are the best. I will say, so like story-wise, I think the originals are the best. Action-wise, I think the prequels are the best, because I think the prequels' action is so much better than everything else. But of course, looks-wise, the modern ones right now, I think are pretty cool. And I like where the modern ones are going. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was pretty cool. But I would have to say, for action, prequels. For story, the originals. If you could have lunch with one person, alive or dead, who would it be? Alive or dead? I feel like, you know, I don't know if I would want to pick anybody that is currently alive, just because, you know, it's not really, like, I still have the chance, you know, if I get, like, famous enough or whatever, you know, whatever, like, if I just have the chance. I feel like you can just bump into somebody and actually talk to them. Doesn't mean you're gonna have lunch with them, but I feel like picking somebody that is dead would be the best, because you don't have that chance. And I don't know, I feel like Stan Lee is definitely somebody I would love to talk to, just because I always kick myself. I had the chance to actually meet Stan Lee. It would have cost me like a few $100, but I was thinking about it for the longest time. I was like, oh man, I could meet him, I can get a photo, I can get his autograph, like this would be awesome. And I was about to pull the trigger, and then they sold out, and I was just like, crap. I was like, well, maybe next time. And now there's no next time. So I think Stan Lee would be kind of cool. But I would also like to meet Steve Jobs. I'd like to have dinner with Steve Jobs just because I feel like Apple is not as innovating as they used to, but when he was around, like, they were just pumping out amazing ideas after amazing ideas. And I would love to see where Steve Jobs thought the future was going to go with technology. Did you enjoy / read the Dark Knight Metal event? If so, who is your favorite Nightmare? For those of you that have no idea what this means, it's a DC Comics event that happened last year, maybe 2 years ago. See, time flies. And it was just basically where there was a bunch of evil Batmen. And my favorite one, Red Death, was pretty cool. Of course, I would have said the Batman Who Laughs, but he annoys me now because he's just everywhere. I would have to say that it's probably, oh man, I'm forgetting his name, but the Doomsday version of Batman, just because it was so badass when he became the Destructor, I think is his name. I don't know. I forget his name. I have to correct it, but he was so awesome because that Superman was kicking his ass and he was like, oh, you can't beat me, and he gets his arm sliced off, and then he freaking turns into Doomsday with the Doomsday injection. I was like, oh, like, it was just so awesome. So it's probably him. What is your next big plan after you release your comic book? Well, I think the plan would be to continue to see how well it does and then continue making the comic book. That would be one thing. But I feel like I'm making a bunch of different creative avenues right now. Like I said, the podcast is going to be starting up pretty soon. I think that's going to be the new podcast. If you haven't been listening to Batman News Weekly, I highly suggest you go listen to that. It's on multiple platforms. But I'm starting a new podcast in 2020. It's going to be more about conversations and talking about things that people don't necessarily want to talk about, or maybe are a little uncomfortable to talk about, you know, because I feel like people don't get to know each other anymore because they're scared to ask questions, you know what I mean? And, you know, that's I already have 3 of those filmed. So we'll pretty much have that podcast all the way through January at least. I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I should post every 2 weeks just to save myself some time, but we'll see. And yeah, I'm trying to work on a short film with a friend of mine. We meet every so many weeks and we talk about ideas, and we're slowly building a little thing that we kind of want to film. So we'll probably film that hopefully sometime in 2020 or 2021. And then, you know, maybe that branches out into the film industry. We'll see, because you can make short films all day. It doesn't mean anybody's going to notice or care about them. But yeah, I don't know. What made you want to stream and make content for other people to watch? Honestly, I didn't do it for other people to watch. I've talked about this, and it's something that I definitely want to talk about on the podcast I just mentioned. But I started doing YouTube because I felt like I didn't know who I was. And when I was watching YouTube, I always heard these people like, yeah, YouTube just lets me be myself and I get to do whatever I want and blah, blah, blah. Like, it makes me find out who I really am. And I was like, cool. I was like, I don't know who I am. I want to find out what my personality is. Like, I want to get out of my comfort zone. So I was like, the only way, the only way in my mind, I was like, I got to get out in front of more people. I got to just be weird and silly and not care what people think. And the only way to do that is by putting weird videos on the internet. I don't know why I thought that was the process. I mean, you can do so many other things to try to get out of your comfort zone, like go start cooking or start, you know, doing a play or doing, you know, you can do a bunch of different things. For some reason, my idea was start making YouTube videos. And so I did. And I slowly started getting my voice. I slowly started finding out who I wanted to be. And then you just evolve with the product, or you evolve with the, not the platform is what I meant to say, not the product. And, you know, streaming became a thing. And I was like, oh my God, the whole idea of like your parents or, you know, relatives or anybody saying that you can't make money from playing video games anymore is complete BS. And I was just like, oh, let me stream and see what happens. And I saw people starting to make money from streaming. I mean, I literally have been lucky enough to have such an awesome audience that when my PS4 like died, everybody pitched in to buy a new PS4. I really appreciate that. I put all of their names on the side of the PS4 when I got it, because I was like, that is so awesome that I had such an audience, like an audience that cared so much to keep me making content. So yeah, I don't know. I think at first it started for me, and I still make videos for me. I still make content that I enjoy. And it's why I stopped doing reviews, because I didn't enjoy it anymore. But I also think people enjoy streaming and enjoy my content, so I continue making it as well. I'm glad it, you know, people enjoy it, basically. And the last question of the video, ladies and gentlemen, are you happy with your life choices? If not, what would you change? Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's definitely some stuff that I would definitely change. Some of it I don't really want to talk about because it's just like it's a little too personal, and I'm just like, I don't really know. I will eventually talk about it on the podcast eventually, but I have to have the right guest. And it's just a big thing there. But I would say I wish I would have started a lot of things earlier because I feel like I procrastinate too much. Like, I feel like I wish I would have written comic books a lot sooner. I wish I would have started YouTube a lot sooner. And I wish I wouldn't have let relationships and the idea of being in relationships get in the way of my goals, because that was something I would always put, like, girlfriends and stuff like that in front of, like, what I wanted to do. And I think that held me back. And I think if I would have kept pushing towards that and focusing on that a lot more, I'd be a lot farther in things. And I would have learned a lot more. But I don't know. And I think traveling. I think I would have tried to travel a lot sooner and not been stuck in parts of my life. I feel like a lot of things in my life, I've just kind of stayed there and not been happy in my situation and just kept doing it. So, yeah, I think I would have gotten out of things very soon. Sooner than I currently have or have in the past. So yeah, I would have definitely just moved and followed my gut a lot faster than, you know, freaking current life. But that is it for the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate your guys' support. It does mean a lot to me because I am just a weird guy with a mustache making videos on the internet. And I'm glad that you support, whether it be this channel, the Back from the Box channel, or the Juice from the Box channel, or the podcast. I really appreciate it, or the live streams. We're doing a lot of stuff. I really appreciate that you guys just enjoy the content that I'm putting out. And yeah, so we will do another Q&A at 5,000 subs. So, you know, tell your friends, tell your family, whatever. We'll do another Q&A there. And yeah, we'll do the same thing. I'll put it out everywhere. But yeah, every 5,000 subs, like I did on the main channel, every 5,000 subs we'll do a Q&A. And yeah, but I really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. And yeah, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the content we upload here daily. But as always, I'm your host, JUICEBOX. Remember to wake up in the morning and ask yourself something about my daily dose of juice. See you guys next time.